Nick Rudder from McKee's 37. In this video, I'm going to showcase our graphene 3-in-1 ceramic polish. This particular product combines a paint polish, a swirl remover, and a graphene ceramic sealant into one easy-to-use formula. This formula is ideal for production detailing, which I'm going to showcase here on my 2004 Mazda 6. So I purchased this vehicle. It's a wagon, which it's a really rare configuration. It's a one-owner vehicle. I sold my FJ at a great price. I bought this for a great price, and I've been fixing it up the last few weeks with various oil leaks. Now I'm running into an issue with the airbag light, which if anyone is an expert on airbag lights, please send me an email, info@mckees37.com. And I have not yet done anything to the paint. I haven't even washed it. So with this detail, my goal is to keep it simple. I'm not going to perform multiple steps in terms of the polishing, and that's where something like the graphene 3-in-1 really shines, pun intended, because it's going to simplify the detailing process. And for something like this is not a show car. It's not a new car. It's 18 years old. It has 100,000 miles on it. I just want to keep it simple, and I do not want to invest a lot of time or a lot of money into this. So by using a 3-in-1, which is essentially a glorified cleaner wax or a one-step, I'm going to save myself a ton of time, and it's going to take care of the some of the swirl marks, not all of them. We're not going for 100% defect removal. It's going to clean the paint by removing embedded dirt, therefore enhancing the gloss, and it's going to seal it for long-lasting protection, which this particular vehicle needs because it sits outside 24/7. So the first step is I'm going to use our Xtreme iron remover. You guys know all about this product. I'm going to spray this on before I even wash this vehicle. Now, it is about 7 o'clock in the morning, so there's some dew in the car. It's been sitting out all night. Normally, I like to spray Xtreme iron remover on dry paint because if it's wet, it already dilutes it. But again, this is a big picture detail. This is not a show car. I'm just cleaning this up to make it a fun daily driver that's also practical because it is a station wagon. So start out by spraying Xtreme iron remover directly onto the paint. What this product does is it dissolves the embedded iron particles that a clay bar or clay mitt does not remove. And it actually changes colors as it dissolves the iron particles. So you'll spray this on all exterior surfaces, and performing this step will significantly increase the gloss because it's removing what polishing and claying does not. And of all the iron removers on the market, this one doesn't smell nearly as bad as our competition, and that's the result of good chemistry. So I'm going to spray this over the entire vehicle. I'll let it dwell for a few minutes, and I've already got my wash bucket set up with Coating Prep Auto Wash, which is a strong alkaline cleaner that's really going to deep clean this paint on this Mazda 6. And here you can see the color changing effect of Xtreme iron remover. It changes color from clear to a reddish purple as it breaks up and dissolves the embedded iron particles in the paint. And even a brand new car can have iron particulation in the paint because of rail car transport or brake dust in the air from being next to a truck, etc., etc. So it's really important to use an iron remover even on a brand new vehicle. In this case, this 18-year-old Mazda is bleeding like a stuck pig. Now that the iron remover has dwelled for a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and wash the vehicle like I normally would. I have my Coating Prep Auto Wash, I have an old wash mitt, and I'm simply going to give it a quick bath. So at this point, I've washed the entire Mazda after spraying Xtreme iron remover on it. And this product, again, removes below surface contaminants like iron particles. The clay mitt removes above surface bonded contaminants. And this replaces a traditional clay bar. So a clay mitt has a rubberized polymer coating. This is a microfiber mitt. You put your hand in. And what it does is this shaves off the bonded contaminants like airborne pollutants, stubborn bug splatter, bird droppings, paint overspray, etc., etc. It makes the paint perfectly smooth because gloss comes from smoothness. So by claying it first, this is going to make the polishing step perform that much better. And it's also going to significantly enhance the gloss. So you can do this one of two ways. you can use a dedicated clay lubricant after you wash and dry the vehicle, or what I like to do is I like to dunk it in my wash bucket and simply rewash the vehicle again. Now, there is a technique to this. Number one, you want to dunk it in your wash bucket frequently because you want lots of lubrication. And number two, when you're using this, you're not bearing down with lots of pressure. You're just gently gliding over the surface. Okay, so at this point, the Mazda has been chemically and mechanically decontaminated using Xtreme iron remover, coating prep auto wash, and then the universal clay mitt. I pulled it in my garage, it's had plenty of time to dry, and now I'm going to polish it with the graphene 3-in-1 ceramic polish. And not to sound like a broken record, but this detail is a big picture detail. I'm not going for 100% defect removal. I'm not going for a show car shine. I'm simply trying to gloss up the paint and add some protection along the way. And that's where graphene 3-in-1 really excels, because like I mentioned earlier, it's essentially a glorified cleaner wax, also known as a one-step or an all-in-one. It's going to give you long-lasting protection because it does have the same ultra-refined graphene-oxide ceramic resins as the other graphene products. It has ultra-fine abrasive powder, so any light swirl marks or oxidation, it'll clean that up, it'll make the paint glossier. And then it also has cleaners in it, so any below surface dirt, it's going to extract that from the paint and make this paint just incredibly glossy. And I love this product, number one, because it's super easy to use, it has a long buffing cycle, it's easy to wipe off, and it leaves the paint as slick as snot. And best of all, there's really not a whole lot of compromise in terms of the protection that it offers, and even to some extent it's quite impressive the level of correction that it offers. So for you detailers that a customer doesn't necessarily want to pay for a full-on correction job and ceramic coating, for your one-step applications, the graphene 3-in-1 is perfect. Now, you can use this product with a variety of different pads, foam and microfiber. I like to use, in the Redline series, either our white all-in-one foam polishing pad, or in this case, the orange heavy foam polishing pad. And the reason I'm using the orange is because this has a little bit deeper defects, like the swirl marks that you'll see here. But also, to my understanding, this car has never actually been polished, so that orange pad is going to amplify the correcting ability of the graphene 3-in-1 to really take care of the defects and just gloss this paint up and pull as much dirt from the paint as possible. So I'm using the Flex XFE, that's the 15mm long stroke, and I'm simply going to work my way around this entire vehicle, and I'm actually going to time myself. So I want to treat this as if I myself were working in a detail shop. I want to get in, get the job done, get it done right, and go home. That's my goal for this. I'm not even going to spend any time taking out the quick jack and lifting this up. I just want to knock this out, and I'm curious to see how long it's going to take me. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to get this done. I'll also take a quick break along the way just to show you guys my process and how it's working, if I get time, but otherwise, let's get to it. So at this point, I've done the driver's side of the Mazda, the hood and the roof, and the graphene 3-in-1, it's working great. It's bringing a lot of life back to this Mazda paint, this 18-year-old gold color. It's really improving the color, the gloss, and the clarity, and along the way, it's removing some of the swirl marks. Now, one thing that I've learned over the years is that people have unrealistic expectations for a cleaner wax or an all-in-one or a one-step like the graphene 3-in-1 ceramic polish. This product is designed to simplify the detailing process. It's never going to replace a dedicated swirl remover. So if your expectations are to remove all the swirl marks, or if your customer's expectations are for all the swirl marks to be removed, then in that case, use a dedicated swirl remover or compound. But for a job like this, where it's a big picture detail, which for most of you production detailers, this is what pays the bills and puts food on the table, is the cleaner wax jobs. Well, the graphene 3-in-1, it's really going to surprise you with just how effective it is at removing some of these paint defects, including light swirl marks and oxidation and even some scuff marks. But where it really shines for you, the detailer, is how easy it is to use and how easy it is to wipe off. So it has a long buffing cycle, it smells good, and it wipes off super easy. So the pad I've been using, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm using the heavy orange foam polishing pad from the Redline series, and these pads are manufactured to our specifications by Lake Country Manufacturing. They're the #1 pad manufacturer. And this pad has been used on the other side. At this point, I'm going to switch to a new pad, which I have right here on my Flex XFE. And the new pad, I'm going to use it for the entire passenger side of the vehicle to wrap up this detail. So that's another benefit when you do a production detail, a cleaner wax job, is you really don't have to invest too much in pads. So I'm swapping the pad just to save time, so I don't have to stop to clean that one. And it also gives the foam material time to cool down. So I've been using this tool for this detail. I also used it for my wife's GLI, which I did recently. And I've always been a forced rotation guy, but I'll tell you, this Flex XFE, this is a free spinning machine, but it's a 15mm orbit. This tool rips. I'm extremely impressed by how powerful and how smooth it is. Naturally, it's a Flex, so it's made in Germany, has great ergonomics, and it really reduces the fatigue on the user for any kind of detail. So here's how you use a one-step, just so you guys have another tool for your tool belt. So when you're trying to remove swirl marks and scratches using a compound, you typically go really slow with your machine, the arm speed, but you have it on a real high speed setting. With the cleaner wax, that's not what you do. So take your product, and you want to make sure you have an ample amount on there because you want the cleaners removing the embedded dirt and grime. And I'm going to spread it out with the machine turned off. And you want to use the product, heavy or wet. You have an ample amount, like I mentioned. This is not one of those products or details where you just put the little tiny pea-sized drops on there. You want a lot of product working for you. And on this tool, it goes from speed 1 to 6. I'm going to set it at speed 5. And the Flex XFE, has a variable speed trigger. So if you just touch lightly, it's going to start the machine up, and then you can depress it all the way and then lock it in place. And you'll notice how quickly I go over this panel. Again, I'm not going real slow, and I'm not applying a ton of pressure, and I'm not at a high speed. I'm just trying to gloss this paint up and add a durable graphene sealant along the way. Never lift the machine off the paint until the pad stops spinning. So I performed about, 5 or 6 section passes, fast arm speed, speed 5 of the machine, very little pressure. Take my towel, fold it 4 ways, and the graphene 3-in-1, it wipes off easier than any polish I've ever used. And I've used everybody's polish, believe me. And it almost melts into the paint, and there's very little residue to wipe off. If for any reason this product is giving you difficulty wiping off, then you are using way too high of a speed, too much pressure, and too slow of an arm speed movement. Everything I just listed is going to result in heat. Heat is the enemy of a cleaner wax. It's really the enemy of the paint too. You don't want to overheat the paint, which with a dual action machine it's not really possible. But so you saw how easy it is to wipe off, and look how slick it is. The towel's just falling off. And this will last a long time, easily a year, probably longer, because I'm going to maintain it with the hydrographene and the graphene auto wash. But so I'm going to repeat that process around the entire vehicle And just to recap, a cleaner wax or a one-step or an all-in-one, have realistic expectations, and do not use a high speed, do not use firm downward pressure, and do not use a slow arm speed with the tool. The goal of a one-step is, again, to get in, get the job done, get it done right, and go home. And this paint will be glossed up and super slick and well protected for, like I said, at least a year. So earlier in this video, I told you that I was going to time myself to see how long it took me to polish the paint on this Mazda 6 station wagon. Well, the total time was 55 minutes. That may not seem like a lot, and truth be told, it's really not, considering what I did. So that's the advantage of using a all-in-one cleaner wax one-step polish like the Graphene 3-in-1 ceramic polish. Now, I used the Flex XFE with the orange foam polishing pad, which that saved me a lot of time because, again, this is a big picture detail. The goal is not 100% defect removal. It's simply to get in, get the job done, get it done right, get paid, and go home. When you're using a cleaner wax like I showcased on the fender, you're practicing a faster arm speed, and I also went multiple panels before I wiped off the polish. And the fact that Graphene 3-in-1 essentially melts into the paint like I was telling you, it only took me one towel to wipe off the polish over the entire vehicle. So nothing got caked on the towel stayed clean, and it's super easy to wipe off. Something else, I did not take any bathroom breaks, I didn't take any water breaks. The only time I took aside was to showcase footage on the fender there, which I subtracted that time from my total time of 55 minutes. And also, this car has a brand spanking new bumper with fresh paint on it, so I also did not polish that. That probably saved me 10 minutes. So if you're looking to speed up your detail and you have a customer that they don't really want 100% correction and they don't need something that lasts 5 years, then consider a one-step like the Graphene 3-in-1. It's going to save you time, money, effort, aggravation. And if I were detailing for a living, I could knock out cars like this, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 a day, especially if you have a helper. Now, the 55 minutes, that also does not include the wash process. The washing, the wheels, the tires, all of that added about an hour and a half, the decontamination step. So as a whole, I probably have about 3 hours total in this detail. So a typical 8-9 hour workday, like I said, you can easily knock out 3 of these. So the gloss is fantastic. It's going to last a long time, and it's going to beat water like there's no tomorrow because the Graphene 3-in-1, as the name implies, it has graphene-oxide ceramic resin. So I'm Nick Rudder from McKee's 37. If you like videos like this, click the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, drop them below in the notes in the comments box. And also, I'm curious, how long would it take you to do a detail like this? Just the polishing aspect. Were you surprised at how fast I went or how slow I went? Share your thoughts below, and take care, and God bless.